James Corden is one of the most talked about celebrities at the moment, and that's not necessarily a good thing. Most people know James from his late night talk show, The Late Late Show with James Corden. But what most people don't know until recently is that his persona on stage is just that. A persona. For the longest time, James was seen as one of the kindest hosts on late night television. So to hear that his reputation has been heading downward, it's hard to wonder exactly what he did to make everyone dislike him so much. Well, after breaking into fame back in 2008, when he won an award for his performance in the show Gavin and Stacey, James began to quickly develop a sense of narcissism, and like most celebrities who develop an ego as big as James did, he immediately began acting like a different person, which is something he has admitted to in past interviews. He claims to have developed a sort of swagger in his walk due to his newly heightened sense of self-worth. Now, there is nothing wrong with self-worth. In fact, it's one of the most important things to have. But it's when you start putting yourself above other people that it becomes a bit of an issue, especially as a celebrity when the entire world is watching. James pointed out that in 2008, if I was in company and the conversation wasn't revolving around me, I would just switch off, meaning that he only cared about having all the attention in the room fixated on him. He even went as far as to get into a public argument with one of the greatest actors of all time, Sir Patrick Stewart. As Stewart was being presented with an award by Corden, the actor noticed something odd about James's demeanor. For some reason, he seemed uninterested to be there, which rubbed the longtime actor the wrong way. Maybe it wasn't the right time to bring it up with James, but Patrick decided to make a comment on it and try to extend an olive branch of advice to his young colleague. He simply told James that he should be respectful while on stage and actually seem interested in the award that he was giving or receiving. If not for himself, then for his fans and the people gracious enough to be there for him. Well, James liked being the center of attention, but didn't like being called out. He proceeded to make a joke about Patrick Stewart's comment, which was followed by a brief bickering session between the two, both next to and away from the microphone. Now, as we said, it might not have been the best setting to bring that up to James, but most people have stated that they feel like James took it way too far and should have just been respectful and taken the advice. But his ego wouldn't let that happen. It takes some serious guts for someone who has had such a perceivably terrible acting career as James Corden to be rude to a legend like Sir Patrick Stewart. I mean, Patrick Stewart was literally knighted by the Queen. Corden couldn't hold a candle to him. James may have gotten his career started as an actor, but according to critics, that wasn't the path that he was meant to go down. When most people think of Corden's acting career, a lot of them think of the cinematic disaster that was Cats. The movie starred James, and it tanked. From bad acting to horrifying CG, the entire thing was just a mess, and James Corden took a lot of the heat for that. Not only was it made apparent that the actor didn't even watch the movie himself, but he didn't bring anything to the big screen that fans wanted to see. In fact, people disliked his acting so much that when a movie based on the hit Broadway musical Wicked began being talked about, fans created petitions asking that James not be cast to play a part. These petitions became very popular and managed to gain quite a few e-signatures, which just goes to show that people are not interested in James as an actor. And they're starting to not like him as a person very much either. Corden also has been getting a bad reputation for the way that he has been seen treating restaurant workers as he dines out. During an Ask Me Anything trend on Reddit that was posted by the late night host, fans began to bring up incidents involving James on his nights out. One post in particular gained a lot of attention and talked about a group of friends who saw the host eating out one night. The Redditor user mentioned, "We didn't want to bother you, but you were a massive entitled dick who yelled and treated the waitstaff like shit." They then go on to explain that when one of his friends asked Corden to calm down, the celebrity got aggressive and began threatening them. Another very recent incident from this past October saw New York restaurant owner Keith McNally calling out Corden for the way that he treated his staff while visiting Balthazar. In his post, which called out James by name, Keith wrote, "James Corden is a hugely gifted comedian, but a tiny cretin of a man, and the most abusive customer to my Balthazar server since the restaurant opened 25 years ago." The owner of Balthazar then proceeded to ban Corden. According to reports, when James and his wife ordered egg whites only with a side of salad, the kitchen accidentally cooked a bit of yolk in the egg. This caused him to send the dish back, which they fixed, but when they sent it back out to James, they accidentally returned it with home fries instead of a salad. This was the last straw for Corden apparently. The late-night host began yelling at his server, saying things like, "You can't do your job, maybe I should go into the kitchen and cook the omelette myself." It turns out that while at the restaurant on a separate occasion, a similar situation occurred. James ended up finding a hair in his food, which he then proceeded to finish eating. Once he finished his food, he then complained about the hair and began demanding things on the house. Otherwise, he would have given the establishment bad reviews. And just like that, the stories began pouring out of the woodwork. Fan reception for Corden is at an all-time low. You can tell by the Ask Me Anything that he had posted and the many comments under his post on Twitter and YouTube. Many people have stated that they don't find him funny anymore or called him a hack. Even when the news came out that he was stepping down from hosting the Late Late Show, people rejoiced and continued to bash him online. Though he was choked up when he broke the news, and his audience seemed saddened by it, with the state of his overall reputation right now, it's probably for the best that James's run as the host is coming to an end. And that's all for today's video. And remember, if you're interested in more videos concerning the common money mistakes made by celebrities, make sure to subscribe to our channel. I'll see you in our next video.